Yeah, thank you. Really, just like I said, I mean, thank you just starting for a bit earlier than normal. But again, I mean, just I was provided the possibility to talk to you about these next generation data centers. And my name is here, Jari-Pekka Satumäki, and I'm working as a technical sales manager in Nordics and Baltics area. And let's get started, because you said, for example, in a previous speaker was saying that, I mean, what's Alcatel-Lucent today? Just a brief word, I'm not gonna go through what's Alcatel-Lucent, since many of you has been working with Alcatel-Lucent for a long time. Oops. Something is missing here, but again, some pictures, who cares? But again, like I said, these are some numbers you can see. Just a normal size company, 77,000, 130 countries, and so on. But again, something what I would like to say is that this R&D budget we have, 3.5 billion. That's pretty large. And think about it. Nobel Prizes, we have won those. And also one thing is coming, that we've been checking actually 50 most innovative companies in the world. There's all kind of interesting companies like Apple, Twitter, Google, Dropbox. And we are the only networking vendor there. So where it's coming from? Actually, it's coming from a little company called Bell Labs. Ooh, this PowerPoint is totally screwed. Who cares? And where we are coming from is that look at these old technologies, what we've been using. This is all coming from Bell Labs since 1925. And if you are seeing something new, you can always figure out it's coming from Alcatel-Lucent. We've been doing this kind of innovation for a long time, and we are still coming out. For example, today we are coming with a light radio. But again, that's another topic, since let's spare some time and go ahead and start to do this real presentation. Oh man, sorry, I had to go back to this PowerPoint. It doesn't really work. I'm really sorry about this. Go back here because this is totally screwed, this presentation. Here we go. Control L. Okay, let's move on. Now we have to back up. Okay. So, but again, let's start from Alcatel-Lucent and what we can do for you. First of all, I know there's a lot of people who has been testing, using, and so on, Alcatel-Lucent, especially here on the service provider section. We've been doing universal access, and also all kind of coming all the way from IP technologies going to the optical part. Second part is enterprise. It was somewhere in 1990s, there was a standard telephone exchange called Alcatel. But again, time has changed, but still, we've been maintaining our position in this niche market today. And that means that we are using this communications part, and we are number one still in Europe, for example. Also, we are raising up on enterprise networking. Now we've been positioned sometimes number 3, sometimes number 4 on this part. But what is interesting for this today's part is actually this cloud PAN solution, what we are doing. We have combined all kind of parts what we have in the whole Alcatel-Lucent, having the MPLS backbone, broadband backbone, light radio, what you're gonna hear much more in a really short term, and also this MPLS story, what we've been doing really successfully, for example, in Finland. We are using just our VPLS story to combine data centers, what is actually today our topic. And combining all these parts together, we can have a nice story. But what are the challenges today for a data center? First of all, traffic patterns. Coming back to again to something like 90s, 2000, we used to have these fat clients connecting to a one dedicated server, and 95% of the traffic was going to a dedicated servers, what was localized. What happens today? We are getting thin clients, especially these famous mobile devices, what we can do here. And also we have the servers what are located about everywhere in the world, in the big cases. If you are using, for example, countrywide solutions, It's not abnormal that you have some solutions, some data centers in Tampere, for example, some in Helsinki and so on, and they have to communicate together thanks to a Web2 services. That's giving you a lot of challenges, and also you need more speed. 10 gig, 40 gig server ports, they are cutting just the normal, and you have to provide devices based on that. What are the demands inside a data center? First of all, business-wise, what is always important? They are getting really critical business element. If you don't have this kind of a good data center solution, your business is screwed. Reason is being that, you must have a business continuity. Since all the business is done about in your, for example, let's take today. I was asked, do you have some data sheets or something? What the hell, if you are coming to talk to me after presentation, I will tell you a website, go to check it there. Business is going to your data centers, your storages, and so on. And also, just we've been always reminded, the people who are working with data centers, what is actually your electricity bill? How big is it? That's something you have to pay attention. Second thing is that everybody is willing to change something in the OpEx. Operating expenses are getting lower and lower, so you must have some automation there. And today, consolidation is coming together with virtualization everywhere. People are soon virtualized, feels like, but again, hopefully not. So what we are doing to solve your problems? First of all, we have to help you to shift from dedicated solutions to all kind of virtualized solutions. That's what we have done. We have improved business continuity and also checking the overall costs by supporting new initiatives, growth, increasing all these environmental issues, and by this way we have built actually the new solution, what we are coming out with a name called Application Forward Network. There's a 3 pillars inside this. Architecture, that's simplified, scalable, secure. Easy to say, but you're gonna see it soon, because today we have to get the simple and scalable solutions, otherwise we can't do our jobs. Automatic control. You have to be able to tune your network during operations. That's absolutely mandatory. If you don't have this feature, okay, well, your OpEx is getting pretty high. And also the quality levels. Competition is tough. Customer is unhappy, I'm sure they're gonna check something else. And also these operations, coming to these OpEx expenses, SLA, like mentioned, but again, provisioning. How you can provision your services to different kind of customers coming from different devices, that's the key element. And by the way, you can see here, in 2011 they came with this concept, it was immediately awarded. So how we are doing it? First of all, we came out with a new fabric. We did a mesh fabric, which is consisting from small devices, small amount of small servers coming all the time, small data centers, sorry, going all the way to the big data centers, where you can, for example, in this kind of picture, support 14,000 servers. That's pretty nice, isn't it? There's no single point of failure, since it's extremely simple. So by this way we have done it, and on the other hand, how we have connected, we've been using our already long known carrier grade devices, and by this way we can use this 5 microsecond latency just in this solution. But let's check a bit more details into it. You can get started with a really small solution. There's a minipod. For example, in this solution you have 120 10 gig servers, and by the way the key element for this one is actually this device. Oops, there is something missing. Okay, yeah, sorry. It was changed with slide, but again we have a device called 6900, and 6900 is a device where you can have 20 or 40 10 gig ports, and you can scale it up to a 32 or 64 depending on 20 or 40 port model. Think about it, you have this 40 port model, 2 expansion models, and you can have 64 ports, and by this way, using multi-chassis lag technology. How many people know what is a multi-chassis lag in this room? I think everybody should know it pretty much. It's a pretty old technology what's been used for a long time, but the idea is that you have 2 links going from one device to both 6900s at the same time, and both are running traffic at the same time. Simple solution what's been in the market for a long time, but now we are using it for data centers. Every server is connected to 2 6900s. That's the reason if you are thinking you have 60 ports, that's the way to do it. If you are thinking that you are starting from here with 2 microsecond latency, and that's been tested, if you want to get test results, how we have measured these numbers, I can provide it. And you can go ahead and start to scale it up. Then you can go and add more 6900s. Do a mesh. When you are getting 240 ports, think about 240 10 gig ports, it's a pretty high amount. And if your business is still growing and you want to grow your business geographically, for example, and it doesn't matter how, we are connecting them together because we have solutions for you. If you have dark fiber, or if you want to use just normal MPLS lines or whatever you use, you can go to 1200. 4 microsecond latency. And finally, if you want to get even bigger, we can get it really big. And even bigger. So that's actually the scalability features what we are thinking of you. And that's exactly the topic what you have to consider, how you can scale it up easy. If you are thinking this connecting data centers, you can have a nice port here in one data center. Here's a one data center. Let's take, for example, DHL, which is our big customer. They have 2 data centers, one in Netherlands, one in UK, and they've been connecting them together using our VPLS story. Our MPLS story provides you possibility to use so-called virtual leased line, which is totally transparent bridge between 2 data centers and eventually the campus areas that you can connect to it. That provides you possibility to use VM, movements, network provisioning, automate everything, and that's exactly how it works. So we can provide you full data center disaster recovery. And that's exactly the topic what many other vendors can't do. Reason being, many other vendors, we are providing you IP routers. We are providing you service routers, and that's a big difference. Service routers, they can use VPLS. VPLS is actually the technology where you are using MPLS in the core and actually layer 2 bridging at the edge. That's giving you a nice possibility to do it, but is it possible here? Layer 2 in IP router? Is it something like what we are working together? No. What about interconnecting data centers? We are using SPB. SPB is actually the protocol what is actually coming, and there's 2 campuses now, Trill and SPB. I will come back to it. But SPB is layer 2 based. So what you are doing, you are using this provider backbone bridge like you used to do in the past and you've been using long time, and as you know, it's flexible. Combine it to a VPLS story where you can actually put 2 data centers together. That's actually something what is difficult to do with IP routers. And naturally, if you are coming to the converged networks, because you have to remember there's somebody who's using it, they must get the quality of service parameters, and that's the reason they must have enhanced quality of service parameters, what we can provide with service routers. But again, after checking many solutions what customers has been asked to check, it's been difficult with IP routers. Other big thing is what we are going to provide, for example, the data centers, is virtual network profile. What the hell is this? It's nothing else, but you must have some parameters for each virtual machine, like security, how to provision different kind of network parameters, quality of service, and this can be automated in a way, but you are making profile, and to this profile you are attaching these virtual machines. That gives you possibility to tune your network during operations and do it pretty easy. Since here is a picture what is demonstrating it. First of all, what we have done. If you are going, for example, to VMware and checking actually what they have in a website, they are talking about Alcatel-Lucent OmniVista 2500 VMM solution. That's actually our integration to the hypervisor, what VMware is providing. By this way, you can take, for example, automatically recognize the servers, new VM servers coming to a network, giving right parameters immediately when they are jumping in, and eventually when they've been running for a while. And as you know, hardware is sometimes running out, so you have to move some VM servers somewhere else. And in the past, you know a fight what has been between server guys and networking guys. Now it's getting pretty easier, because now you can do it with one device, 4 functions. You are moving your VMware machine, and at the same time, what you can do, you actually can move your networking parameters. That's actually something what we can do, and that gives you a lot of benefits. But also remember this visibility. Like I was talking about OpEx, you must have a dashboard where you can see switches, VMware servers, everything at once. And that's actually what we can do. Are we doing it ourselves totally? No. Alcatel-Lucent is not a network management company totally. We have a good network management solutions, but for servers, we don't do it. So why don't we talk to our colleagues? Like I said, VMware, we have a solution together. Citrix, I will come a bit later. Microsoft, we are talking. KVM, yep, we have a solution. So that's the way it goes. I mentioned previously that we are using the SBB. Why SBB? So, by the way, how many you know? I mean, what's the difference between Trill and SBB today? That's not too many. But again, some, and SBB and Trill is actually 2 competing technologies. You remember back in earlier times in 90s when we was talking about routing and bridging. This is about the same issue. SBB, what is actually using this old, good known technology called provider backbone bridge in carrier part, is layer 2, pretty much. Trill, it's a normal routing part. So, which one is good, what is bad? This is of course my view. And what we think? Implementation. First of all, provider backbone bridge, I think most of the carriers are using it today. Trill, how many implementations you can see in provider backbone bridges? No. Deployment? Yes. All the carriers, all the big environments are using it. What about Trill? Yes, it's used in enterprise campuses and in data centers. Is it really efficiently used? No. Hardware support. There's no need to change hardware. We are using basic IS routing and layer 2 bridge. Nothing else. But here, you need new data plane to get everything done. Where is savings? Where is savings? Please let me know. VPN scale. 16 million if you are using this virtual library reward. But here, you are stick to a router interface. max scale. It can hide customer VACs, virtual IDs from provider network, but here you are exposing everything. Forwarding is cut-through switching, and here you are using, like in MPLS, hop by hop, header swapping, and that's the way you are going ahead. There's a big difference in performance-wise. OEM, standard, HE, and 1735, what has been used for years, but here you need new standards. And also remember, this has been deployed, and there is a multi-vendor interoperability. University of New Hampshire was testing again our SPB, and our solution was working fine against competition, with our vendors, and also just by this way we could be done. So that's the reason we are using SPB in our solutions, to get you easier and better solutions, and also one of our partners was recognizing it. We have a tight cooperation with TREX today. TREX is, as you know, they've been doing a long time this kind of virtual solutions. And it's fitting nicely about the vision and strategy, like I told you. But we are checking always that your virtualization, your OPEX cost, bring your own devices, everything is coming easy. That's the reason we decided to work together with TREX. And what TREX is providing us together is using, remember, virtual network profile, what I told you. Think about it. You can put each user, each server, everything with the right parameters. And it doesn't matter where they are located, because we have a good WAN solution here in the middle. And you can connect to multiple data servers. That's actually what we are doing with the TREX. So now you can see this virtualization, what I told you, is reality today. And TREX is implementing, as I speak, data centers using our networking solutions. What we're going to do is actually getting directions what we are doing with our data center solutions. First of all, we are getting more 40 gig ports. Of course, we are going to a copper-based 10 gig. Fiber channel is part of the data centers, as we know, and we must provide you a proper gateway function. To be honest, it doesn't exist today for us, so that's the direction. Plan to be out by the end of the year. And 100 gig solutions, naturally. But today, I would like to see actually people starting to use 40 gig, because in service provider section, I agree 100 gig is needed and heavily needed. But think about data centers, that's a different animal. Servers are using 40 gig, interconnections with 100 gig. Typically it's better to use something else, but the same top of rack devices as you are using for servers. And we have a solution for that one as well. You can come to ask it after this presentation. We're going to do IDS, IPS, because we want to get into your traffic. We want to do traffic selection, giving to the traffic on fly, all kind of parameters, especially quality of service. SPB, yeah, again, I must honestly say that it doesn't exist in the current code, but in next month we are getting a firmware where we are getting SPB solution, and it's been tested now in 10 different environments, and it works quite fine. We could even announce it today, but again, we want to test it properly. VM provisioning, it's going to enhance, because EVB is actually just part of the VM machine standards, Internet Virtual Bridge. These standards are getting better. Also, data center bridging features are enhancing. We are getting more and more lossless Ethernet features. What is actually needed that we can go ahead properly with FCOE. I know that there are some vendors who are doing today FCOE, and iSCSI is also a good option. Remember always that one. But is FCOE totally there with total lossless Ethernet? That's a good question. We have a solution for you if you need it today for FCOE, and you can come to ask. And content fluency. we're gonna check out, like I said. We wanna do all kind of optimization to your traffic. We are getting, for example, this is a mention in SIP, but it can be something else. And SIP traffic, for example, we can check it out and check how we can pass the traffic in a proper quality of service parameters. Auto-tuning for different kind of app applications using VNP, that's going to be done. And also, because we are not can use for all enterprise devices these heavy carrier devices, so we have to use a bit smaller devices. So we are implementing also to our enterprise devices MPLS LSR. Eventually, even if we are using SPP, so you shouldn't have a need for it, but you can do it. Virtual chassis, naturally, and certified interoperability between different kind of our vendors, server vendors, QLogic, so on, who are providing NIC cards and so on. This is absolutely mandatory, and that's what we are doing. This is giving you some ideas, but we are not less. So let's check what you will get with our data center solution. First of all, you will get infrastructure. What is providing you the solution to your current challenges? Multimedia streaming, collaboration, these new applications, what is eating your all bandwidth, what you ever get somewhere to a network. Remember that you don't need to buy expensive devices to get good solution and scalable solution. And scalability is coming, this flat network idea, using virtual chassis, multi-chassis lag, less routing, all these functions, they has to be there along with virtualization. Also, we have peace in your mind. You can make your company happy, lowering your OPEX, getting flexibility, telling that in the future you don't need so much money to have a CapEx devices, I mean just buying devices, and getting this by good energy solution. And also remember one thing. Is it better to have this kind of vendor lock-ins? You remember this part. This guy was something like doing by himself something. And what we are doing, we try to put all you together. Having a nice circle here, what everybody's shaking hands and everybody's happy. So it's better to use standard-based solutions than this kind of vendor lock-ins, what is really expensive for customers, by the way, if you are using proprietary solutions. So please check standard-based solutions. That's better. And also, as a last reminder, don't be fooled. You know a little company called Ferrari. They have a horse in their logo. What about if you are getting a car and it has a horse? It can be like this. So please check in what kind of solutions you do and so on. Any questions? No. Again, me and my colleague Hannu is here, so you can come to see us and ask about questions, and we are happy to answer and provide you further information. So, that was my half an hour, so we are still 10 minutes ahead. Oops. Oh, by the way, this device is